I'm imagining him outside with like a whiskey bottle, just like, he said, meet me outside. I'm here.
Standing outside his car, just waiting.
Also like I'm crazy.
He has his baseball bat with him.
One has a baseball. Yeah, that's crazy. They end up just playing catch.
This is 60 Minutes with Dylan.
Oh, I know this song.
Did you know what it was?
That was Through the Fire and the Flames.
That was Through the Fire.
Yo!
Alright, that part. Can you admit though that part you do way better than the intro?
Yeah. That was impressive. Holy crap.
Welcome to the Joystick Show, where we do that all the time.
That's it.
Can you guys believe we've been doing this 208 times?
I can believe it.
You can't believe it?
It's wild.
You know what I'm more surprised by? We're still friends.
Yeah.
We're still here. It's great.
Yeah.
We haven't killed each other yet.
Or we just haven't, someone didn't move the Ohio or something.
Yeah.
We've all stuck our roots.
One day on this podcast, maybe on the spooky month of October, they'll just be like, one day just like Jerry's corpse will be here, and he'll start fucking, just evaporating.
You're basically just selling a free joke where next time one of these guys aren't here, we just have a skeleton.
I have a skeleton.
Yeah, we just
dress it up like Jerry.
You don't have to act. I love how that was just accepted. It was like, I have a skeleton, and you were like, yeah.
Okay.
Like someone tells a really good joke, and you're like,
if you didn't have a skeleton, I'd be like, what the fuck, bro?
Joey, you love Halloween, and you're a teacher. It's okay. You're allowed to have a skeleton.
You should.
Those are the two things,
You know what I learned real quick? I learned that if you wanted to be a doctor back in like the 1902s, you had to like own a skeleton, like a human skeleton.
Yeah, you had to own a skull.
Yeah.
You needed to own that. And people were grave robbing.
Yeah, you taught us that on an episode of the Joystick Show when you went to the Bone Museum. Yeah. I remember that.
Wow,
that was back in the 02s. If you want to help us out, you can go ahead and like this episode, and you go ahead and subscribe to Team Joystick, and it's gonna be a fun one because there's chock full of stuff that we're gonna talk about today. Could have worded that better, but who cares? No one's judging me. It's just the internet. It's just the internet. I want to commandeer this podcast right now. I want to talk about something near and dear to my heart, and that is cinema. Because yesterday I enveloped myself in cinema. Real quick, as a prelude to that, Mildred and I have concluded, or rather not concluded, it's not the word, we have put together a list of 31 movies that we are going to be watching every single day of October.
Oh, I like that.
And
that's dope.
I'll get to that later, and I'll share more about the list. But last night we decided to do a little curveball, and instead of watching a movie at home, we went to go see a movie in theaters, and that movie is Joker, Folie, Deux. Okay? Now, I want to get accurate, like in time. So I'm going to go to Rotten Tomatoes and check the scores for Joker 2, a.k.a. Folie, Deux, right now. Okay? Let's see.
Folie Dukes.
Folie Doo-doo.
That is a Twitch channel. That's not what I'm looking for. Come on. Joker, Folie, Deux. Rotten Tomatoes. Right now, the critics have it at a 33%.
Oh!
Whoa.
And the audience has it as a 36%.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is,
I was surprised to hear that number.
And for reference, like what's at the first Joker?
I was just looking these up too because I was like, okay.
Because I remember the first Joker, everyone had mad doubts, and then everyone went to the movies and they were like, "Oh, this fucking rock."
Well, Joker, the critics have it at 68%, and the audience has it at 89%.
Yeah.
Right.
The audience hate that shit.
But that's the thing. I think, is it also? Do we think that? I mean, obviously, you'll get into this. That people weren't expecting it to be so good and it became a phenomenon. Yeah. Whereas this now is not. It's like the opposite.
So I think the fun way to start this is to just tell you my score of the movie, and then we'll get right into it. I'm going to give Joker Folie Deux an 8.5 out of 10.
Oh, okay. You give it better audience score.
Now, welcome to my new segment, Bobby Defends Joker Folie Deux from everyone else.
If there's a segment, Bobby, you know what that means.
That I got to make a graphic.
You got to make a graphic or something.
There you go. So I'm gonna do my best. The team has already given me permission to spoil this movie, but I don't want to do that until later on, so that you can keep watching and you'll get the graphic. It'll come on. You can go to the next chapter. You know how it works here. All right. So Joker Folie Do right off the bat is a musical. It's specifically a jukebox musical, which just means that no original music was written for the movie. They use pre-made songs, right? So going into that already, I was very curious to know what the songs they were going to use were going to be. And I like the fact that they kept it within like the time period that they try to, keep that movie in. So there's like Stevie Wonder songs, Carpenters,
Oppa Gangnam Style.
Yeah, Oppa Gangnam Style, exactly. That's a really great Gaga number. She kills it. But point is, they kept the music really tasteful to the time period. So I was grateful for that because I was kind of half expecting to go in and see them doing like pop numbers and stuff like that. And the first thing I want to talk about right off the bat is the musical part of the movie.
Okay.
It's really interesting, right? It's not like a typical musical. And what I thought was extra interesting about it is after the movie was over, Mildred and I were talking about it, she actually felt the exact same way about it. So I didn't feel like I was like the only one thinking it, basically. The musical itself is done really tastefully, where music is almost like a communication technique, specifically between Joker and Harley, right? So like they'll sing to each other to calm each other down, but it's not like your typical musical when a number comes in and the show stops, and then they do the number. It actually flows really well throughout the movie.
Okay.
I'd argue there's not even a point where like it feels like there's a musical number. The only time it feels showy, so to speak, is it's another way of showing what Joker or Arthur's character is envisioning in his head. So it's like on the outside, he's this sad, like loser, murderer, whatever. But on the inside, he's Joker in the red suit with the makeup, hosting his own show with the spotlight on him and stuff like that. So I thought it was done very, very well, very tastefully. Lady Gaga's great. I thought she killed it. What more can I say? Oh, yeah, the cinematography is fantastic. Would not be surprised, despite the scores that it has right now, to see it get a cinematography nod at the Oscars, because it looked incredible. Production design was fantastic as well.
The trailer itself, they had the scene where he leans back into the red smile. Like, that got everyone going crazy.
That shot was in my favorite number of the musical. And what's actually funny is that number, it's not even, like, again, none of the songs are really all that showy. So that number is really just Harley singing to Joker through the phone in like a call, visiting him in Arkham, basically. But long story short, those are pretty much all the things I liked about the movie. This is where the defense comes in. All right.
Okay.
And again, these are going to be minor spoilers. I'm not going to put the alert yet, because these
Not
are
yet.
like, if you watch the trailer, you could put this stuff together. Okay. First things first. What I noticed people say before I even went to go see this movie, people were saying that Lady Gaga either didn't have the acting chops, or that they felt like her best moments were cut out. To defend that part, number one, the people who say that she doesn't have the acting chops can suck a dick, because Lady Gaga is actually a fantastic actress. Number two, I didn't quite understand what they were saying about like her moments getting cut, because I feel like she does have some pretty good moments in the film, even aside from the musical parts where she's just showing off her acting chops, and then of course her voice is an amazing instrument. But I guess I noticed in rewatching the trailer that there were a number of scenes that they teased that actually weren't in the final cut of the movie. So I saw a lot of fans were upset about that. They were like, where's this scene? It looked like it was going to be cool. And to be fair, yeah, I saw the movie and I didn't see the scene. So they probably took it out of the final cut. Again, it didn't really hurt the movie for me, but I guess to some people they wanted to see those scenes. And I get it, that sucks when something's teased and you don't get to see the final production or whatever. The other thing that people were pretty upset about was the plot of the movie. And to be honest, this is where some of the points get tacked off for me. And that's why it's not like a 10 or a 9 or anything like that. The plot of the film, without spoiling it too heavy, is it's literally just a follow-up to the first Joker film. So it's Joker's in Arkham, and he's getting put on trial for the murders that he committed in the first film. Because of that, it's a pretty slow burn. It's very like Ted Bundy-esque, like he's on trial, there's cameras, he has like a big following of people behind him.
I don't know, you think that the audience would almost like true crimes really?
But honestly, Joker Folie Do, if you could give any classification of what kind of movie it is besides a musical or a superhero film, so to speak, it's like a law film. It's like a trial film, you know what I mean?
It's the second half of Law and Order.
That's pretty much what it is, yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's the spiel. Another thing I'm going to say, and you know what? This is where the spoilers are going to start. So go ahead. Spoiler alert. Boom, boom. If you don't want to hear it, run away. I think another reason why people didn't like the movie is because Joker doesn't kill anybody. He just doesn't, like, he's just a normal guy.
Isn't that the whole point? Is that he isn't violent? He's just insane?
Covering my ears.
Isn't that the whole point though? Like that he's not, like, he's just crazy. He's not actually a violent murderer.
So that's what that's what his defense team is trying to prove.
Yeah,
they're trying to prove that the Joker is like a split personality.
He is.
Basically.
He's insane and he's not actually evil.
But then there's like a moment in the movie where like he basically goes through his own thing where he's fighting himself. Like he doesn't even know who he is. He doesn't know if he's Joker or if he's Arthur or yada yada yada. Right. So for that plot element, for the fact that it is a law movie and it doesn't really further anything, and the fact, like you mentioned, it's not as violent as the first movie, I'd argue there's not even like a real action sequence in this movie. It's very much like slow plot heavy. For that, I understand why people might have been upset for it. Okay. Now the ending of the movie, which from what I've seen is what has people up in arms.
Oh, that's
like,
okay. That makes
people
sense.
are lining up with torches to fucking burn down these theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Again, spoiler alert, I'm throwing it again. If you don't want to know it, fucking go to the graph. If you want to cover your ears, cover your ears.
It's full.
He dies at the end of the movie.
Okay.
He's killed. Yes.
Ooh.
So this is what I thought was interesting, and I'm going to explain it. At the end of the movie,
They didn't want to make a third one.
long story short, the movie ends with basically Arthur's character acknowledging that there is no Joker. And he's like, I'm just Arthur. Like, I'm just a sad man. I want this whole shit to stop. There is no Joker. And he basically like quits on the whole persona. And I think that's another big reason why people were like, what the fuck? It's the Joker movie and the guy's going to quit being Joker. And he legitimately does. There's no like rug being pulled. There's no like, wait a minute. No, he's just done. He doesn't want to do it anymore. And because of that, like all the people who once looked up to him are like, fuck this guy. You know, even Harley is like, I don't want anything to do with you anymore. So at the end of the movie, it's Joker back in Arkham, and he gets set up by a prison guard where another prisoner who used to be one of his like followers tells him a joke, and when he gets to the punchline, he viciously stabs Arthur. But there's a pretty cool thing that happens in the background where the last shot of the movie is the camera zooming in on Arthur's dead body on the floor, which Joaquin sells, by the way. It's actually pretty creepy to watch. In the background, the guy who stabbed Arthur is laughing maniacally and begins carving a smile into his face, basically insinuating that that's Joker. And the reason why I'm trying to defend this shit is because literally after the first Joker movie came out, Todd Phillips did an interview where he's like, yeah, Arthur's not the Joker. He's the guy who influences the real Joker. So they actually like get to show it full circle, but people are super upset about it.
I kind of remember that. I remember, and it probably was you that read that and then shared it with us, but you said it. You were like, oh, this isn't Joker.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't Joker. It's the guy who inspired
And
him.
honestly, it also got me thinking into this whole spiel where I'm like, I can't even really be fully mad about it because it's kind of sucky that, like, for people to really get the full scope of movies that you have to do like extra research, that you gotta like read an interview that this guy gave, or like that should just be enough in the movie to tell you, right? But regardless, those are my defenses for the movie. Feel free to come at me. If you want to kill me, please don't. I want
Carve a smile on his face.
Don't
Yeah,
do that. It's
You
bad.
can also argue that it's like kind of part of the marketing's fault, right? Like calling it Joker if it's not
Yeah,
the Joker.
I just think that people were, I guess, not even misled. They misled themselves. Like, people thought
That
they
sounds
were,
like what happened.
Like, they thought they were going to get, like, you know, Joker villain porn, and then they got a law musical.
Yeah.
I think
you're
that's,
also
That
right,
sounds
guys. Like-
exactly
that sounds
100% what you
that
got on
kinda-
the nose.
And it's actually funny that Jerry brings up that point because I was speaking about it with Jose earlier, and Jose brought up the point where they were like, maybe they should have called it like Arthur or something instead of Joker.
or Joker
Right.
2 Arthur.
You know, something,
Yeah.
whatever. But
Jarther.
I mean, you can also argue like he doesn't wear a purple suit. You know, he wears a red suit.
Red suit.
In the first
different
movie,
makeup.
wasn't the whole thing that this wasn't the Joker origin story? That this
Yeah.
was just some guy who
Yeah.
influenced Joker?
No,
that's that's the whole point
Also
of
to
the
go,
movie.
a step
Bruce Wayne's
further.
a child.
Yeah, that's the
Also
whole
to
point.
go a step further, these movies don't even exist in the same continuity as like the DC universe, and
It's
they
fucking-
said that
it's
they're
the guy
like,
who directs The Hangover.
yeah, they were
one of
like,
the guys.
they were like, this is DC Elseworld, so these stories exist out of like everything James Gunn
Yeah,
is
it's
starting to
different,
do at
yeah.
DC. But
obviously.
the last thing I'll
Everything
say
is DC
before we
Elseworld.
move on,
There
and
is
before
no
other
universe.
people want to say is, I'm just gonna say that I think what makes Joker a good movie for me is like you kind of have to remove the whole Joker and DC aspect and go into it watching just a movie. Because if you're going into it expecting like, you know, to watch all these DC parallels, yeah, sure, you'll get a couple here and there, but it is very much its own unique new thing. And the last thing I'll say, which I really thought was cool because Mildred kind of summed it up perfectly, it feels like a movie made for filmmakers. Like, when you make movies and you love movies, especially like the classic style of how cinema was made, and you watch this, you can't help but just go like, man, that was really well executed. The best way I described it is it's Taxi Driver meets La La Land. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in checking out, give Joker Folie a watch.
It also meets crimes and misdemeanors, I guess.
And look, at the end of the day, right, scores and reviews are subjective, but in my opinion, I actually think it's criminal to give this movie anything less than a 5. But that's just me speaking. I'm going to stay true to the 8.5. Give it a watch, give your own opinion. I'm actually curious. I want to see if I'm in the wrong here.
I got something to say. I think this is one of the rare situations where art replicates life, because in the movie everyone's pissed like, oh fuck you, you're not Joker, and then in reality everyone's like, what the fuck, this guy sucks. Like,
not actually Joker.
Yeah, he's not Joker.
People are mad that he's not actually Joker.
Bro, you're literally in the movie. That's you. You're in the movie, and in a way, like, not to be all like high IQ Rick and Morty watcher, I feel like him stepping away from himself and everyone hating him, including Harley, is something poetic of being true to yourself despite everyone like hating you for it. And it's kind of funny that there's audience that are like, man, he's not fucking Joker, fuck him. It's like, what?
But yeah, so shout outs to the movie. I thought it was pretty enjoyable, and again, give it your own interpretation.
Filmmakers.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it now. You know what else I'm excited?
Speaking of cinema.
He said, fuck you, Jerry.
No,
I like cinnamon.
Yeah, I want to hear Jerry.
Jerry likes what?
Cinnamon.
Oh my god, bro. Let me put up the text right there.
Yeah,
Whoa,
there you go.
Look how close those words are.
It's way more important.
Yeah, bro. It's cinnamon roll day. I just had to say that, you know.
Yeah, look, we even lit the candle.
Yeah, we got
didn't even
the
think
candle,
about it. We
boom.
lit the candle up.
It's Cinnamon Day?
Cinnamon roll. You were the
No,
one who
you were the one
told
who
us.
said-
I meant that's a cinnamon scented candle.
Cinnamon roll.
No, it's a cinnamon roll candle.
Oh,
That's why we.
Jerry bought it for us.
Yeah.
amazing.
God. Someone didn't get the weekly email.
Bro,
I reminded all of you today that it was
Someone didn't get the
newsletter.
company memo. Yeah.
I honestly, it would be. I want to send that out now. every
Joystick newsletter.
Monday, or I guess every Monday.
the newsletter on the group chat.
Yeah, there will be a joystick newsletter.
Oh man.
I'm gonna hold myself to it.
Look at us going places. But so what about Cinnamon Roll Day?
No, I had a Cinnabon, and I need to say this on the podcast so that the listeners tell me where all the best cinnamon rolls in Queens are.
There you go. Yeah.
There you go.
Let us know.
Let Jerry know where the
Let
best
me
cinnamon
know.
rolls
We
are.
need to let our homie get the best ones.
Leave them in the comments, and we'll go to him. If you say Cinnabon, I'm gonna block you from the channel. So choose wisely.
Block him, chat.
All right, that was a long chapter into a short chapter. That was great.
I like that. Is that a chapter?
That's its own chapter.
Okay,
That's its own minute and 12-second probably long
Let's
chapter.
go.
But let's go into a slightly longer one because I know Joey wants to talk about the month of October, which we're currently in. Look at that.
Word. I had a pretty lit start to October. First thing I did was the Jimmy Fallon Tonightmares that's been promoted.
How was that?
Well, let's talk about price first before I get into it. The price was about like $40-something to get into this haunted house. Okay. And
right
it
off
was
the bat, sounds fair, but we'll see.
Yeah, like I'm like, all right, $40, for the costumes, the makeup, the set, the people having to be there for hours scaring and doing the same jump scare. So I was like, all right, let's go. It takes place in the Rockefeller rink, so literally in the building. Go downstairs, and they made us wrap around this hallway, and then
I used to walk through that hallway to get to work.
Yeah, so now there's like two lines.
Yeah,
two lines going all around.
The underground, like with the glass.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
That's exactly the one. And we went up to the door. We got closer to the door, and then there was a metal detector. And people doing whole checks, and Nicole starts freaking out. I have a pepper spray and my knife on me, and I was like, okay. I started immediately doing Hitman, like, where can I hide this? Where can I hide this? But I don't know, maybe I just looked mad guilty. But the guy was like, if you have any pepper spray or knives, let us know now. We will hold it for you. And I was like, is this a trap? Is this a trap? So I was like, we have pepper spray. That's all I said. I said, we have pepper spray. And he was like, yeah, just put it in this. They had like a doggy bowl they took in. I was like, all right. And they were homies about it. They were like, yeah, you're going to be in there for a short amount of time. We'll give it right back to you. So now back to the experience. You go in and there's this ghost-like pager. I don't know like that terminology for like studios, but Jimmy Fallon says that this is my pager. Her name is Taylor, and she's always in my nightmares, and she guides me through them. So we're in Jimmy Fallon's room. The first room is Jimmy Fallon's room, and like the lights go out, and then there's a effect where like hands are pushing through his headboard, and he's like, "Please, I'm in here. You gotta help me." And we were like, "Oh shit!"
And it's the real Jimmy Fallon, right? He's doing this every single show.
Jimmy Fallon's there in the
Gotcha,
haunted house. And then this girl's like, "Come on, let's go. We're going through this house." And we stop into like a dark room where Jimmy Fallon gives like a brief explanation. He's like, "I always have this reoccurring nightmare where I'm in the forest and I'm being chased by aliens." And then you're in a room that's like maybe a minute long, less than a minute long room of walking through a forest and like these scare actors that look like aliens. And then into another dark room where we have to like, Taylor's like, "Wait, we have to wait for the Jimmy Fallon cue." So I'm like, all right. So the zones were the aliens in the forest, hillbillies at a gas station, because that's what scares New Yorkers. It's like hillbillies at a gas station, a scarecrow in a cornfield, which was really good. Like they had this mirror effect. They had like maybe like these ropes dangling from the ceiling. And they had a mirror walls to make it the effect like it was like an ongoing corn maze. And there was a bunch of scarecrows, and some of them were actual scare actors. And that was the best room. I was like, I loved that room. That was really genuinely scary. There was an abandoned subway with like these creepy mole people. There was this factory with these AI robots. There was Jimmy Fallon got bit by a werewolf, like a werewolf puppy. And then he became a werewolf in like a green screen area. Cool. And then once we got to the end, we were back in Jimmy Fallon's room, and he was like, "All right, that was it. Yeah, thank you, Taylor." And Taylor's like shaking her head, and he's like, "What do you mean? I thought we were done." And then she pulls a curtain to reveal like a wall full of faces, which looked like pretty real. Like I was looking, I was like, "Oh shit, like that looks really good." I was telling him, I thought it was really, but it was a wall of faces just like nailed to a board. And then she pointed to an alley and was like, "Run." And we had to like quickly walk through this maze with like the curtain that Jimmy Fallon uses in his show. Like it was like we were stuck in between curtains and we had to like run through this maze. It was really cool. It ended fast, which I guess most haunted houses, it's not like a huge experience. Plus it was it's a long line. But I was going to say it didn't feel like a haunted house. It almost felt like a performance, like almost like because we had to stop and then wait and then go into the thing, and some areas required you to like, she was like, "All right, stop here, like we have to look at this." But I can't say like my girlfriend and I, we left and we were like, that was enjoyable, like that was kind of fun. So I think it's more so the experience of saying I did it, and like it's Jimmy Fallon's name if you're like crazy about that. But as for haunted house goes, I think it was well done. The costumes were good. The makeups were good. Like that face full of walls was pretty dope. And
sick.
1 out of 10.
1 out of 10. I'll honestly give it a 7 out of 10.
Fire.
I can't give it too high.
Hey, it's a fair score. Sounds like it was worth the $40.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah. I'm upset that this man has many attractions. This man has so no.
He's got a ride in Florida.
He has a ride in Florida. He has a haunted house. Can't wait for the Jimmy Fallon Christmas Village.
Jimmy Fallon escape room, bro.
No, he has a ice cream.
You just have to escape his office.
His ice cream.
He has ice cream.
This guy is every season. Wait, he's good fucking.
Mm-hmm. He was in Puerto Rico with Bad Bunny.
Day, it's fucking Jimmy Fallon as a groundhog.
He saw his own shadow. Yeah. Speaking of orange. Because pumpkins are orange.
Yeah.
There's a team in New York that's also orange. Segue of the week.
That is a segue. I mean, I could have segued out of the cinema one too. Because it was like, that's made up characters in fiction. This is not fiction.
Yeah.
Right? And that is the New York Mets.
You probably also could have done a Jimmy Fallon fever pitch thing there, too.
I forgot. That's actually in my head, a pretty low-ranked sports movie.
Of course.
So I didn't think
no one watched that movie and was like, this is the best thing ever made.
What, Angels on the Outfield?
Angels.
That's what Jimmy Fallon's Tonightmares is for.
They're in.
Oh, they're in the outfield.
Which doesn't make any sense.
Joey makes more sense.
Yeah,
make more sense.
Absolutely.
You're not in. You're in the wrong, but you shouldn't be in the wrong.
I have to say they're out in the out, and it's like, okay, well, that's they're in and out.
But anyway, speaking of the outfield.
Yeah, speaking of the outfield, get ready, guys. It's I'm taking donations now. Prices are going up by the hour to go to this Mets game.
Yeah.
When I checked, standing room tickets were $185 and selling out. There was
That's wild.
The underdogs are getting they're getting good,
really
man.
Good. Yeah, the Mets, they fucking won. They're in the playoffs starting tomorrow.
I've decided after I saw Pete Alonso hit that home run to win against the Brewers, I just decided to say fuck it, and the Mets are going to win the World Series. I don't care what Dylan says. I don't care about Ohtani. I don't care about anything going on in the other league. The Mets are going to win. So.
Yes. Which I'll get into Ohtani. I do want to talk about him later on, but that's another side thing. But yeah, basically there's two teams in baseball now, mainly, that shouldn't be in the playoffs but are. First off is better than the Mets story. Honorable shout out to the Detroit Tigers, who in August had a 0.8% chance to make the playoffs, then won like 30 out of 40 something games and made the playoffs.
That's fire.
Amazing story.
They says who?
They make as their entire team makes as much money as Lindor.
Wow.
Less, I would say. They make less money than Lindor does.
That's impressive.
Anyways, shout outs to the Mets. They made the wild card game. As I talked about, fuck the Atlanta Braves with all my heart. Do you know about what the Atlanta Braves did, Joey?
No.
So the Mets were basically one game ahead of the Braves in the playoff standings.
Okay.
And they're rivals with the Braves.
Fuck the Braves.
3-game series in Atlanta while the hurricane is about to hit the South. So they play the first game, but now they're like, look, these games are going to get canceled, and these are like make or break games to the side. We should cancel one and try to play the other, or move and play in a different arena, like a different stadium.
Like the game had to be played because of
Atlanta was like, nah, we don't want to play it because there's a rule. Baseball has stupid rules. One of the rules is that the home team can decide what time they play and everything. The other team has no say in it. So the Braves were like, no, we're going to play a doubleheader a day after the season ends instead of trying to make up these games another way, even though we knew the hurricane is coming. The Mets win the first game, then bench all of their starters and let them win the second game. So now the Mets and the Braves both made the playoffs.
Wow.
Braves lose the playoffs, Mets win. Ha. Game 1 of the playoffs in the MLB, the Mets Jesse Winker, who this guy
Winker,
I call him the winking butthole, but no reason. Yeah. He's just a nickname I gave him in MLB The Show, and now he's on the Mets. But, basically, he beat the Mets one year, and as he was walking off the field, he was kind of like waving to the fans. Yeah. And he's always been like a showboaty guy. So he hit a triple the other day and ran, and as he was running around the bases, was yelling at one of the other players, who then not only tried to fight him, but apparently waited an hour after in the parking lot outside of the Mets clubhouse because he told him, meet me outside, and he's like, I will, and tried meeting him outside.
These fucking 16-year-olds, bro.
So, shout outs to baseball players.
That's incredible.
Meet me outside.
And these are both these are both guys that have like been in the league for a while.
I bet.
Like, they're like Jesse Winker, he's like 33, I think now. Like, these are not young guys.
I'm imagining him outside with like a whiskey bottle, just like, he said, meet me outside. I'm here.
Standing outside his car, just waiting.
Also like crazy.
He has his baseball bat with him.
One has a baseball. That's crazy. They're just playing catch. They're like, man, we had our differences. I was kind of mad at you. But no, okay, so the Mets lose game 2. I didn't watch that because I was like, they were winning all of that game, which is not how the Mets win, right? If the Mets are winning, they're going to lose. They're going to lose. They're going to lose. It never works that way. So game 3, the Mets are tied the entire game. 7th inning, they give up 2 home runs in 1 inning, right? My heart is like...
Everyone's heart.
It's not over, but I'm like, got 8 outs.
Yeah.
Right? 8 outs. Somehow, though, the Mets got on against their best pitcher, got a guy on first, and,
Pete Alonso finished
Pete Alonso hits a home run.
Bang.
Pete Alonso did what Pete Alonso does best.
And a video later came out essentially explaining, my guy John Boy, who I've brought up several times on this podcast, he did a video breaking down how when you look at the pitcher's glove, you can actually tell what pitch he's throwing based on how he holds the glove. And apparently the Mets knew that because the coach of the Mets, before Alonso's at bat, was talking to him the entire time, and he was basically saying
look at his glove, look at his interesting.
So he knew exactly what pitch was
I love sports.
Sports are great, man.
So now they play the Phillies tomorrow. They are playing in New York Tuesday and hopefully Wednesday.
Man, New York.
And,
we're going crazy.
Mets and Yankees both in the playoffs. Preseason basketball starting up in Dubai of all places.
First time that these teams were playing on the same day, because both teams have made the playoffs. They made the playoffs back in 2015. This is the first time they're playing together since 2006.
Yeah.
Obviously different leagues, but
Wait, which two teams?
the Mets and the Yankees on the same day. Because what would
wild.
happen was one would get an off week, one would get an off day.
The same New York.
Now it's the same day.
I'm realizing how big of a fan my mother is of the Mets. Like in my family, it wasn't really, we didn't watch sports, but we were just like, we're Mets fans. And I was just like, okay, yeah. It was hard to be a Mets fan growing up because I was surrounded by Yankee fans, and it was like, you guys suck.
It's
and
just hard
like,
to be a Mets fan.
Yeah, I mean that's just you buy in the pain. It's the same with Jets. It's the same with both the bats. Not even.
It's like the Nets, honestly. I mean,
honestly, the Knicks too. They haven't won shit. The Knicks haven't won in like 40 years.
They're looking good though.
But my mother was saying, she was like, if they win, like they have to cancel everything. New York's gonna have a parade. And she was like, you think? She was like, yeah, I'm not going into work.
Yeah, that's how that works.
It's like I was looking at like some bars and shit, and I'm like, they had to like clean up, like shit broke.
Yeah,
it's a wild card game. It's not even
right.
a game.
Queens is gonna fucking erupt, bro.
That's why I'm excited.
One last thing, I want to dial
this.
it back on the sports rules, the baseball rules. Is there any rule instead of using a bat that I can use a boxing glove like Donkey Kong and Mario? Like, can I use a glove to punch the ball?
It has to be a wood bat.
Okay.
And it has to be between a certain. I mean, I guess
width and length.
I guess you could
Use
come
a
up
wood
with like
glove.
a fucking 10-pound bat if
like
you want.
A bat
like,
glove.
Yes, but it's like the same. It's like you use different wood.
Okay.
But it has to. It's a lot of baseball. It's like the same 3 companies make everything. It's like Rawlings, and Spalding, and all those people. They all make the same bat.
Wilson,
Mizuno, Adidas. But I would like to finish my baseball tangent with something very important, and that is for Game 1, the Mets pitcher, Kodai Senga, who was out the whole year, is pitching Game 1, despite not pitching the entire year.
That doesn't sound like a great idea.
Which people don't think is a great idea. I fucking love it.
You think he's resting?
Fucking love it. Not even that.
That's
Japanese players, even in like other sports, they are different.
They're taking over.
Like they have committed their life. Like they've made an oath to this sport.
Yep.
Like if you listen to any like Japanese baseball player in interviews, I know it's translated like it's not one for one.
Yeah.
But they sound like fucking badasses. They're like, oh, what do you do when you go home? They're like, nothing. I think of baseball. It's like, what? Huh? Like I remember there was a famous interview with a famous player back in the early 2000s named Ichiro Suzuki.
Yeah.
And they asked him all these questions, and they were like, oh, what's your dog's name? He's like, I don't have permission to tell you that. Like, no, I don't have permission. I have to ask him permission first.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the fuck? And there was just like a ton of like weird kind of interviews. So Kodai Senga today, they did a bunch of interviews with him, and this guy's a fucking badass. They're like, oh, how do you feel? It's like the crowd's gonna be super rowdy, they're gonna be yelling at you. He's like, good, I'm ready for it. I'm like, damn, like this guy's ready to fucking fight.
Hell yes.
But yeah, it's actually not a bad thing. I mean, realistically, they could just bring him in for like 2 innings.
Yeah, and then if anything, switch him out.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, they should do that, but
we'll see.
We'll see tomorrow.
Yeah. God bless October sports.
Tomorrow.
Time to watch some sports. Tomorrow will be a sports watching day.
Yeah,
got UFC fight.
And we got the UFC fight tomorrow.
It's all for sports.
Yeah,
this is a dope month, you guys.
It is a dope month.
Today, though, dog shit. Nothing. No sports.
Yeah, no
today.
sports today.
That's why we should release on Fridays. That way the podcast comes out and there's no sports.
What?
'Cause, that's overlap.
I don't know.
That's overlap.
So confused. Anyway. Well, there's the sports tangent. I feel like there's just always a weekly sports tangent. I'm not mad about it.
At this point, yeah.
I put it in the chat the other day. I was like, it's so funny that we're like the Joystick show. We're under this guise of like video game nerd discussion. But every week it's just like sports and combat fighting. It's
always, honestly, we talk about film and sports more than
You're gonna have the
video games.
rolling the rolling bottom bar. We talk about sports. Just comes out of nowhere.
It's like children's media, adult media. 5 years talking about porn, guys.
Yeah. It's gonna be a great transition. Fuck. So yeah, real quick to go back. I was gonna say my list of Halloween movies that I have.
Oh yeah.
31. I'm just gonna rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
Ready? From October 1st to October 31st. Deadpool and Wolverine. Halloween Town 2, Calabar's Revenge. We also double featured You Be Halloween with Adam Sandler. Joker Folie, Deux, Halloween Town High, The Addams Family, Return to Halloween Town. You're starting to see a bit of a theme here. Yeah, finally, on the 7th, we get to our first horror film, The Menu. Then we're doing Talk to Me, The Shining, Hocus Pocus, Psycho, The Craft, Ma, The Haunted Mansion, Get Out, Practical Magic, It, Coraline, Scream, Fun Size, Misery, Monster House, I Know Who Killed Me, Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed, The Eye, Nope, Long Legs, Paranorman, The Wonder, Shaun of the Dead, and we're ending it on Halloween by watching Halloween. So
that's dope.
Pretty good list, I think.
That's a pretty good list.
Very good list.
We mixed it up. It's like family movie horror, family movie horror.
It's more. It's very mystical.
Yeah,
you know, but that's not a bad thing for me personally.
Well, we both had insight, and I like honestly speaking, my thing is I can't watch a lot of like gory horror films. So there's more like paranormal, supernatural stuff.
Have you seen Nope though?
No, I'm excited to watch it.
Oh,
so here's the thing. I had
Nope
it all spoiled. I had it all spoiled for me.
Get some gore.
I had it all. No, I've seen the scene, but like that doesn't bother me oddly enough. It's more like I want to see it executed. Yeah, I want to see it executed because I know everything about the movie. I just want to see it now. You know. What's actually funny is like a lot of the newer ones like Talk to Me, and I actually haven't seen Us, so like I'm excited to see those. But she hasn't seen any like the classics, so she hasn't seen Scream. She hasn't seen The Shining. She hasn't seen Scream. She hasn't seen
nothing beats the original.
The Shining. She hasn't seen Halloween.
Are you gonna watch Scary Movie?
No.
Can we watch Scary Movie?
I actually don't know that I've seen the first Scary Movie.
They make fun of Scream.
It's mostly Scream that they make fun of.
Is that the one where they're all in the house, like the mansion together? 2. Oh no, then I haven't really seen one much. I remember 2 more than 1.
Officer Doofy.
Oh, Dewey.
What's the movie where I think it's a scary movie where they're like parodying The Exorcist and the girl like pees on the floor, and it's like overly long.
I don't remember.
That's 3 or 4.
3 was about Signs.
Well,
Mel
no,
Gibson
but
Signs.
3. I think he's talking. I think that's 4 because 3 was Ring and then 4 was Grudge.
Yeah, 4 is Grudge.
They're all like parodies of a scary movie franchise.
Yeah.
It's usually like 2 or 3 per movie.
And that's why like Date Movie was Date Movie, Superhero Movie was Superhero, and that's why those were kind of like
an epic movie is epic.
Yeah,
okay, I understand. Yeah.
But those 1, 2, and 3 and 4, those are Wayne's Brothers in Living Color. Like those are like they're stupid, but like I would argue that they're, despite being outdated, are pretty well executed.
There's still somewhere.
Yeah, I think it's in Scary Movie 2, the peeing scene. The reason I bring it up is because I have a very distinct memory of watching that after school when I was like in 1st grade, which is like not what you put on for. No. It didn't scar me, but I was just like, what the fuck is this? Like,
is there one for Saw?
Huh?
Is there one for Saw?
Yeah, 4.
Yes.
4 is Saw.
4 is Saw, The Grudge, and War of the Worlds.
Who is it? Is it Dr. Phil and someone else?
Shaq.
Yep.
Dr. Phil and Shaquille O'Neal. Yep. It's like legit them too, right?
They agreed.
Yeah,
they agreed, and even shit on themselves. Like they talk shit about themselves. There's like their careers.
Shaq's thing is he's like chained to a toilet or something, and there's like a shitty basketball hoop, and he has to make it, but he's like bad at it. So he keeps missing. So
yeah. Oh, those movies are fucking great.
Yeah, man. 4 was those 3. 3 was The Ring,
Signs, and 8 Mile.
8 Mile, yeah, not a horror movie, but
they want to just do 8 Mile.
3 is by far the best, and it's not even close.
Oh, like, it's so dumb. It's
like,
so
what
dumb.
if we get this porn star to play Eminem?
and Signs, I think, too,
Signs,
the alien shit.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, those are classics, man. Shout outs. All right.
How much time we have
I love
left?
funny movies.
We can squeeze in one more thing.
Like 70 years.
Yeah, right.
Don't tell him that,
Jerry.
I'm just kidding. Nah, just kidding.
Straighten this up real quick.
I did the Nightmare Before Christmas light trail in New York Botanical Garden, located in the Bronx.
Yes.
And that was another thing. I think it was like $44. Everything's like in the 40s.
Inflation, man. Everything's just $40.
Yeah, right. But
that's inflation.
What it was is that it's a night walk. It's a night walk with a bunch of statues and lights and projectors that fit within the theme of Nightmare Before Christmas. And it was a lot of fun. Like I definitely had a lot more fun than the Jimmy Fallon Haunted House.
I saw the stuff you posted. It looked very well done.
It was well done. I was kind of worried that they showed the map and some people in the comments were like, this thing is really really fast. Like I don't think it was worth my money. But like when Nicole and I went in at 7:30, we didn't leave till like an hour and 30 minutes after. Like we didn't leave. We left later. It was like close to 9 when we left because we wanted to really take our time with everything. We filmed everything. We took pictures. I even said out loud, I was like, bro, like I paid money to be here. I'm taking a picture with every statue. Like I'm gonna get my money's worth. No lines were formed for the statue except for one statue in particular. So I can only imagine you can guess who that was.
I'm gonna guess that was the Jack Skellington and Zero statue.
Yeah, that line had it roped around a corner. So like we were walking and I just saw a long line and some people were skipping the line. And I told Nicole, I'm like, let's wait on this line because I think I know exactly what's at the end of it. I know, and I was right. I was like, it was Jack Skellington. It was really cool. Like the lights. I think if it's up from now and even into Christmas. So if you have the chance to go see it, if you have family that like the movie or a partner that likes the movie, I definitely recommend going to check it out because it's a fun, nice time. Nothing really to eat there. We found this pizza spot that was like hidden in like a dead end. But it was a good pizza. Shout outs to Pugsley Pizza.
Nice. Yo, Jerry.
Oh, yeah. Bronx Little Italy is like 2 blocks. It's on the other side.
I went into that pizzeria and I just saw nothing but Italians on the wall. And I was like, oh, yo, you guys are still here?
Yeah. There's like a 2-block radius that's like The Sopranos. And then
I was like, oh, shit. Look
yo, Jerry, I was wondering if you wanted to go to the Botanical Gardens. I know this pizza spot, dead ends, Italian stuff all over the wall.
Oh shit!
Jerry really hit us with shit.
No, the funniest thing I'm imagining though is just Mildred at home, just like the fuck, man. It's just you guys like having like the best time.
I get an angry call. Oh my!
Like what the fuck? I just posted on Instagram. You don't post stories of us.
Yo, man, I love when Jerry hits us with the cliche. Oh shit! That's like that fucking audio clip I have of Jerry where he's like, nah. I'm just about to play that. Here you go.
My name is Jeff. No, but I'm just saying some more words.
Oh man, well fucking before we end this shindig, we gotta talk about some music recommendos that we gotta give the public for them to go listen to in the form of songs that you can listen to on Spotify. Real quick, before we get into that, we should go ahead and re-advertise our Jam Yam Bam and Slams Volume 3. Here's the graphic for that. Go ahead and check that out. I'll relink them so you can go ahead and click on those bad boys and see our favorite 12 to 15 songs of the past 50 or so podcast episodes. But without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the jam and the yams and the bams and the slams of this week. Who'd like to go ahead and
I'll go first because I've actually been like listening to music, but not on my own time. Surprisingly, at work, I've been putting on Anamanaguchi for my students. So like when we're racing, when we're gonna do a dance in the classroom, I'm like, bro, I'm just gonna put on something loud and fast because that's what these kids be like looking for. That's all they know. They won't retain. That's all they fucking know. You think they want to do with like a patty cake? No, I'm like, here you go. We're listening to this. Go dance however you feel. But my song is gonna go to Meow because I had it on YouTube, just like going through the songs.
Throwback.
And when it went to Meow, I low-key, don't tell anyone, I legit stopped watching the students and I just watched the entirety of Meow because I was like, I haven't seen this video in years. Joy's like, Meow. No, like I was just watching it and I saw on the bottom it says this video was made like 12 years ago, and I was like, oh shit. So I watched the whole video and I was trying to see like, does it have the same vibe as I remembered when I was young in my teens? Like, is it enjoyable? Is it cringy? And I was like, this is funny. Like, I was like, it was a throwback. It was a good nostalgic throwback.
Cool music video.
Fire. Real quick, I'll go ahead and say my jam of the week. I got a bit of a twist for you guys here.
You have 3?
Only one.
Shit.
Only one.
Oh, shit.
Feels weird. This is actually the 3rd song that I'm giving jam of the week to off of the same album, but album solid, and this guy's becoming one of my favorite artists of our time. So shout outs to ericdoa, aka Ericdoa, with this song, I'm Cool, I'm Good, I'm Straight. Just, like, I don't know.
I like how I think I've only ever picked Ericdoa on his side projects.
Yeah, no, that album's fire. DOA, it's really good. But yes.
He's good. My yam of the week goes to a band that I know Joey likes as well, and that is Gami Gang, Origami Angel.
Yo.
Their new album came out.
Yo.
And a song off of that is Viral. These guys rock with their cock out, and it's a really good song. Really good. This song almost has like a shoegazy vibe, as opposed to like they're normally like
love that
pop punky emo with a hinge of like lighter stuff. Yeah, no, it's good.
Fire.
That's cool. I gotta check it out.
My Bam of the Week is another Mac Miller song. It's What's the Use off of Swimming.
Mm-hmm. That's a good song.
Yeah, it's a good song, man.
Yeah, shout out.
I've had it on like 3 playlists, but I just put it on Bams today.
Nice.
All right. That's another successful episode of the Joystick Show, man.
That was fun.
Man, you know what? Guys, like this episode of the podcast. Please, please like it.
And honestly,
subscribe. Like, just do it, you know?
Big bro,
just
like,
do it.
Come on.
You just got look at me. Look at me right now. See this? Watch. I just subscribed. Saw how easy that was. Is all you have to do. You don't even have to click the bell. We do one thing a week. It's easy to keep track of.
And if maybe we get enough likes, maybe we'll make a part 2 of this episode. You know,
maybe we'll make episode 209. Part 2. But we haven't decided yet.
We're the same shirts, guys.
Episode 2, guys. I don't know what you're expecting. It's gonna be a law musical.
You know what?
Please end it there.
This might be a really good way into duping us into getting better at this podcast. We hold ourselves and the audience hostage, and if we don't get at least 1 subscriber a week, we cancel the show.
Oh, I like that.
So if nobody subscribes, we might not see you next week. You know. But with that being said, you get what you fucking deserve, Dylan.